Welcome back, Culés. Big drama continues at FC Barcelona as the transfer window edges closer to its end. From Marc Casado's future being secured by Hansi Flick, to growing doubts around Fermín López's role, and even Ferran Torres attracting a huge Saudi offer, there is plenty to unpack. On top of that, Barça are still racing against time to register new signings like Roony Bardghji, Wojciech Szczęsny and Gerard Martín before the deadline. Let's break down all the latest updates straight from the Camp Nou. Barcelona midfielder Marc Casado has been at the center of transfer speculation this summer, but the latest comments from Hansi Flick suggest a very different outcome. During his press conference on Friday, the German coach made it clear that Casado remains an important part of his plans, making a departure look highly unlikely. "I've spoken to him and he doesn't want to leave and I want him to stay. It's going to be a difficult season and we need all the players we have right now," said the manager. Against Levante, Flick surprised many by starting Casado alongside Pedri in midfield. This decision came as Frenkie de Jong was absent for personal reasons. Flick's trust in Casado. Flick later explained that the choice was tactical. "Casado is starting because we've changed the structure. We want more consistency and control in defense, and he's very strong in positional play." His words hinted at the manager's belief in the youngster's ability to bring balance to the team. Usually, Gavi would have been the one filling that spot, and he did eventually come on in the second half. But Casado's involvement was not just a random decision. It showed Flick's willingness to trust him in an important match. While questions still remain about how much game time he will get this season, one thing looks clearer now: that he is unlikely to leave Barcelona during this transfer window, reports Marca. Interest exists but player stays firm. Despite Flick's backing, there has been no shortage of interest in Casado. Reports revealed that clubs such as Como in Serie A, Real Betis in La Liga, and even Premier League side Wolverhampton Wanderers have shown serious interest. Barcelona were said to be open to offers if the right price came along, with suggestions that a sale could bring in much-needed funds. However, Casado himself has no desire to walk away from the Camp Nou. The midfielder believes he can play a role under Flick and is ready to fight for his place, even in a squad full of talented midfielders. Marc Casado seems certain to remain at Barcelona unless the club itself decides otherwise, but the same cannot be said for Fermín López. Despite his own wish to continue at Camp Nou, his future is still up in the air. According to Marca, the board would consider letting him go if the right bid arrives. Hansi Flick's decisions against Levante added fuel to the uncertainty. The German coach left Fermin out of the starting lineup entirely, choosing instead to start Marcus Rashford on the left wing. That switch forced Rafinha into a central attacking role and pushed Dani Olmo to the bench, though Olmo at least got minutes in the second half. Fermin meanwhile did not feature at all. Even though Flick insists publicly that he doesn't want to lose any players this summer, his tactical choices suggest Fermin could find game time scarce. With Rashford holding down the left, it leaves Rafinha, Olmo and Fermin all fighting for essentially one spot, and that puts the 22-year-old at a clear disadvantage. On top of this, Barcelona's financial troubles continue to play a big part. Player registration remains an ongoing issue, and while Fermin has made it clear he wants to stay, a significant offer could push the club to cash in. In short, his situation is far from settled. Barcelona's current circumstances mean no scenario can be completely dismissed. If a club comes forward with a convincing bid, especially one that helps ease the Blaugrana's financial pressures, Fermin's exit could become a real possibility. For now, his future hangs in the balance, with his role under Flick still unclear and competition for places only getting tougher. Barcelona's first-team squad have been afforded a well-earned reward on the part of head coach Hansi Flick for the days ahead. That's according to journalist Sergi Capdevila, who highlights as much as coming in the form of an upcoming break from training. Barcelona of course marked their return to action on Saturday, making the trip to Valencia for a La Liga meeting with Levante. When all was said and done, the Blaugrana kept alive their perfect start to the campaign, to take their place back atop the Spanish top-flight standings. As much, though, only came after a rousing comeback. With 45 minutes on the clock at the Estadi Ciutat de Valencia, the visitors found themselves trailing by 2-0. After Pedri pulled one back early in the second half, though, Ferran Torres' equalizer was added to by a decisive own goal on the part of Unai El Jazabel in the game's dying moments. And the significance of as much, evidently, has not been lost on Hansi Flick. FC Barcelona are once again at the center of transfer market speculation as they look to navigate their ongoing financial difficulties. Despite efforts to achieve stability, the Catalan club still faces salary cap restrictions and the need for additional income, which has inevitably led to key players being linked with a possible exit. Until recently, much of the talk around potential departures revolved around academy product Marc Casado. Now, however, another name has surprisingly entered the conversation. Ferran Torres, one of the most informed players under Hansi Flick. Al Ittihad strategy, Mora or Torres? According to Fishages, Saudi Arabian giants Al Ittihad are preparing to step into the market once again with massive financial backing. Their primary target is Rodrigo Mora, Porto's 18-year-old striker who has quickly become one of Portuguese football's most exciting prospects. As per Fishages, the Saudi club has already tabled a lucrative offer in an attempt to lure him away, aiming to make the teenager their new attacking leader. However, with Porto reluctant to sell a player whose value could grow even further in the coming years, Al Ittihad have identified Ferran Torres as a strong alternative. Should their Mora pursuit stall, the Saudis are reportedly ready to make a bid of around 60 million euros for the Spanish forward, a figure that would undoubtedly test Barcelona's resolve given their delicate economic situation. Flick's faith in Torres' stance. Under Hansi Flick, Torres has been revitalized. The 25-year-old has delivered decisive performances in the opening La Liga fixtures, scoring in back-to-back games against Mallorca and Levante. His versatility across the front line and his ability to step up in crucial moments have made him an essential figure for the German coach, who has made it clear he does not want to lose him. For his part, Torres shares that conviction. Despite the lucrative financial package Saudi clubs can put on the table, the Spaniard is focused on continuing at Barcelona. As per the report, sources close to the player insist that he feels settled, supported by Flick, and determined to keep playing at the highest competitive level in Europe, particularly in the Champions League. A tempting but unlikely exit. From a financial standpoint, an offer of 60 million euros would be difficult for Barcelona to ignore, especially considering their struggles to register players at the start of the season. However, Torres' firm stance on staying, coupled with Flick's reliance on him, means a departure this summer appears unlikely. As we enter the final week of the summer transfer window, Barcelona have quite a bit of business to take care of. There are 3 players, Iñaki Peña, Hector Fort and Oriol Romeu, who will leave the club in some capacity, and 3 others, Wojciech Szczęsny, Gerard, Martín and Roony Bardghji, who are still waiting to be registered to make their official debut this season with the first team. Bardghji, the new signing from Copenhagen who impressed in pre-season and scored the game winner in his debut with Barça Athletic this weekend, has been linked in recent hours with a possible exit and a return to Copenhagen on loan if his registration doesn't go through in time, but the player is not thinking about leaving. That's according to Mundo Deportivo, who report that Bardghji and his representatives remain calm and trust Barça to sort out his registration before the window closes. Roony is only thinking about playing for the Blaugrana and showing his worth to become a first-team regular, even though the initial plan is for him to split time between the senior squad and the reserve team. Barça are running out of time to make sure Bardghji, Szczęsny and Martín are all registered, but the club remain optimistic that all the operations they need to make in the market will be completed in time for the registrations to come through before Sunday's La Liga trip to Rayo Vallecano. 3 players to have sat out Barcelona's meeting with Levante on Saturday were spotted back in the thick of things in first-team training this morning. The trio in question? Roony Bardghji, Gil Fernandez and Hector Fort. Barcelona, of course, are fresh off making it 2 wins from 2 to kickstart the defense of their La Liga title. After making the trip to Valencia for a meeting with newly promoted Levante yesterday evening, the Spanish champions recovered from 2 goals down to ultimately emerge on the right side of a 3-2 result. Playing no part in as much, though, were the aforementioned trio of young talents. For a variety of reasons ranging from registration problems to transfer talks, Bardghji, Gil and Fort were not called up for the trip to the Estadi Ciutat de Valencia. But as alluded to above, on Sunday, all 3 were back front and center at the Ciutat Esportiva. So, Barcelona fans, Flick has made it clear that Casado stays, Fermín López's future still hangs in the balance, and Ferran Torres is resisting big money temptations from Saudi Arabia. Meanwhile, the registration saga continues with Bardghji, Szczęsny and Martín waiting for the green light. The Blaugrana are fighting on all fronts, both on the pitch and in the boardroom, as the transfer window nears its closing stages. What do you think, Culés? Should Barça sell to solve their financial issues, or keep the squad intact for Flick's project? Drop your thoughts in the comments and don't forget to like, share and subscribe for more Barça updates.